friends, welcome back to my channel. I hope that you're doing well. Welcome to another video and welcome back to my October TBR Tarot video. Here we are in the month of October, and honestly, I don't know what I'm doing or why I'm doing it, but I have another very large TBR planned for the month of October, and let's hope that TBR Tarot and Becca's Spookoplathon can fit all of those books into it. So I'm gonna go over how I did in the month of September, and then we will jump into October. Like I said, I am gonna do TBR Tarot as well as Becca's Spookoplathon. I am also going to be participating in Stayspookyathon that is hosted by Dana over at Dana Ella and Nikki at Nikki's Bookish Coven. So I will try to talk over some ideas that I have for those prompts, but I'm honestly going to be filling them in as I go throughout the month, so I don't have a set TBR for that, but we will go through everything else. We also have a few housekeeping things from last month that we need to wrap up, but before we do that, let's talk about how I did in the month of September. So for pool number 1, we got the King of Pentacles, and for that I chose The Blood and Roses Part 1 by Callie Hart, and I did read this. For the Wheel of Fortune, I chose Mile High by Liz Tomford, and I did read this. For the Six of Pentacles, I chose Dark Notes by Pam Godwin, and I did read this. For Temperance, I chose The Ritual by Chantel Tessier, and I did read this. For the High Priestess, I chose A Not So Meet Cute by Megan Quint, and I did read this. For the Four of Stars, I chose Heartless Heathens by Santana Knox, and I did read this. For the Two of Stars, I chose The Air by Sophie Lurk, and I did read this. For the Full, I chose Hideaway by Penelope Douglas, and I have not read this one just yet, but it is the 25th of the month, so I have plenty of time to get this one done. For the Ten of Stars, I chose Death by Laura Thalassa, and I did read this. For the World, I chose Losers Part 1 by Harley LaRoe, and I did read this. And finally, for the Hermit, I chose Daughter of No World by Carissa Broadbent, and I did read this. So all books except for one were completed by the time this video is filmed, and I have 5 days left to read Hideaway by Penelope Douglas. It's not going to be an issue whatsoever, so that means I get to take yet another reward, which means I get to pull 2 rewards. Since I didn't do one last month, I am going to pull one for this month. I did create these little reward cards, so I'm going to go ahead and shuffle these up and pull one. Ooh. Free prompt pick, which means whatever prompt I choose to swap out, it could be just a free pick. I can do whatever I want for that one, so that'll be an interesting one. And then let's do another one. These are very flimsy, so they're hard to shuffle, but I'm trying not to look at them. Sushi night. Oh, I'm gonna have to convince my husband to make that happen, but that is a reward for me, not book related, but definitely something that I will not disagree with. So those are my 2 rewards, a free prompt pick and sushi night. So I have to figure out which prompt I want to swap out. I will let you guys know when it comes up in the game, but other than that, let's get on into it. All right, here we go. Pool number 1. The King of Pentacles. All right, pool number 1 is the King of Pentacles, and this is a mood read, so what a great way to start off October, honestly. And for that, I'm choosing tentatively Rewrite Our Story by Kat Singleton. I did start this book in the past, and I didn't really get too far into it. It was a book that I had to read physically, and I just wasn't so inclined to pick up physical books at the time, but the audiobook for this recently came out and I do really want to read it. However, the beauty of a mood read is I can swap this out at any time if for whatever reason this book is not working for this prompt, but this is what I'm putting in for my tentative mood read pick. Pull number 2. The Ten of Stars. Pull number 2 got us the 10 of Stars, and unfortunately we did have this pull last month, so that does mean an extra pull for us. It's okay though. Honestly, I have so many books to read this month, anything will fit. But for that is to finish the series, and I'm going to choose Things We Left Behind by Lucy Score, the last and final book in the Knock 'Em Out series. I have loved this series so much, and I'm so sad to see this come to an end, but I know that it's going to be an absolutely fantastic end to the series. These books are chunky, but they fly by, and I have so much fun. The second book in the series ended up on my favorites of the year list for this year, and the first book ended up in my favorites of the year list for last year, so I have high hopes for book 3, and hopefully I end up loving the end of the series. And as for the synopsis of this, I don't know too much about it. I do think that it is a second chance romance, but it's also hate to love. These characters have been hinted at for quite a while for having their book, and I'm very excited to see what Lucy Score does with these 2 characters. Pull number 3. The Page of Pentacles. Pull number 3 is the Page of Wands, and for that is to read a Kindle Unlimited book. And this book is on Kindle Unlimited, but I do own the physical copy, and that is The Right Move by Liz Tomford, the second book in the Windy City series, and it is our Swoony Readers Book Club pick for the month of October. We are very excited to read the second book in this series. I am so pumped. I absolutely loved Mile High, so this one is definitely high up on my priority list, obviously because it's my book club pick, but also just because I think it's going to be an incredible 5-star read. That being said, if you do want to participate in the Swoony Readers Book Club, this is definitely a great place to start. This is a second book in the series, but they can be read as standalones. This one follows a basketball player and a flight attendant, and it is a forced proximity fake dating romance. This follows Stevie's brother, who is the main character in Mile High, and Stevie's friend that she worked with on the airplane, Indy. And I'm very excited to read their story and see what this is all about. If it's anything as good as Mile High, I'm going to be so excited, but I've heard that book 2 is even better than book 1, so my hopes are high. Pull number 4. The 4 of Stars. Our next pick got us the 4 of Stars, which is Why Choose. This is another pull from last month. I kind of missed it in the pulling section, but I did pull an extra card for this one. But oh boy, I love a good Why Choose romance, so I'm not disappointed that this came up. And it's perfect timing because Stuff Your Kindle Day was full of Why Choose romances that I added to my TBR that I have no idea when I'm going to get to. So I'm actually going to read one of those books. The book that I chose for this is Frayed Trust by Olivia Lewin. This is a Omegaverse Why Choose romance. It is paranormal. I believe it's angels, and I don't even know. I don't know what kind of paranormal it is. I just know that it is a paranormal reverse harem fantasy, and I am very, 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 very excited for it. The cover of this is stunning, and I'm very excited to jump into some of my eyeball books, books I have to read with no audiobook. I'm intrigued to see if I can get through this fantasy on my own. I've been trying to push myself out of my comfort zone with actual physical reads or ebook reads as much as I can, and this is definitely one that I'm excited to get to, so hopefully I love it. Moving on to pull number 5. The Ace of Pentacles. The Ace of Pentacles is our next pull, and that is a free pick. Honestly, I cannot be more excited, and for that I'm going to choose One Last Rainy Day by Miss Kate Stewart. Oh my gosh, I have been waiting for this book for a while. I've been waiting for the audiobook to come out, and it is officially getting released in October, and I'm very excited to pick up this next series and most likely cry my heart out. I do plan on rereading the books in the series before getting to this one, so I have a large feat ahead of me, but I'm very, very excited. This one follows the events of the Ravenhood series by Kate Stewart and one of the characters' children. So I'm very, very excited to read this one. Hopefully I love it. I don't think that I won't, but I'm a little scared to get my heart broken because I'm just not emotionally prepared for the damage that this book will bring. Pull number 6. The Star. All right, our next pull got us the Star, and that is No One But You trope, which I do love, don't get me wrong, but I'm actually going to use my reward for this one, and I'm not going to pick this prompt. I'm going to just pick a different book that I think will better suit my wants, needs, and desires for this month's reading, so I'm going to choose a different book for this. I'm currently in the middle of filming a video project, and I feel like I can fit one of these books in here that will better suit my reading needs for October, so I'm going to put in Lotus by Jennifer Hartman. This is a standalone book, but the character in this was teased and introduced in Still Beating, which is a very, very, very dark romance that I really absolutely loved. It's a 5 out of 5 stars for me, one of my favorite books I've ever read, but I'm very excited to get around to Lotus. This is a special edition. This is the Mystic Box special edition, but I've been wanting to get around to this book for forever, and the audiobook finally got re-released, so I'm very excited to get to this. I honestly do not know anything about the story, but I am pumped because I have loved almost every Jennifer Hartman that I have read, so I'm very excited for this one. Pull number 7. The Page of Wands. Our next pull got us Page of Wands, and that is to read a book with sprayed edges, and I feel like this book is the epitome of sprayed edges, and that is Empire of the Vampire by J. Kristoff. I have to read this book, okay? I have to. Do you want to know why? Because the next book is coming out, and I pre-ordered it, and that goes against all of my book buying ban requirements, so I must read this so that I can justify my need for the pre-order of the Waterstones exclusive edition of book 2. But the sprayed edges on this, absolutely stunning. One of my favorite sprayed edges I've ever seen, and I'm very excited to get to this. I've heard really great things about this book. I have loved the other J. Kristoff books that I have read, especially his adult fantasy, so I'm very curious to see what I think of this one. But it's thick. She's a thick book, and I'm very, very, very nervous, but I'm excited to give it a go. And do not ask me the synopsis of this because I literally do not know. Pull number 8. The Hierophant. Our next pull got us The Hierophant, and this is to read a queer romance, and for this I'm going to read Give Me More by Sarah Kate. I did look on Goodreads, and this is shelved under LGBTQI+. This is a MMF book. It is the 3rd book in the Salacious Players Club series, and I believe this follows 2 of the owners and somebody else. I don't really know the logistics of this relationship, but from what I can see on Goodreads, this is LGBTQI+, so I'm hoping this fits. If I'm wrong, please do let me know and I'll pick something else, but I do really want to move on with the series, and this is the next one that I need to read, so hopefully I can get to it and love it. Pull number 9. Oop, that one wanted to come out. The Queen of Stars. Our next pull is the Queen of Stars, and this is to read a fantasy. So for this, I'm going to be reading Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. Is this going to be a reread for me? Yes. Have I finished the series? No. This is the last book that I have read in the series. I have started Tower of Dawn and Empire of Storms and a tandem read, but I never finished it, so I need to reread this one before I can move on to the next books in the series so I can finally finish it up this year, because I'm tired of being a fake fan, but I am going to love my reread. This is my favorite book in the series so far. Have I finished Heir of Fire yet? No. Okay? No, I have not finished my reread, but this is definitely going on the TBR, and I'm very excited for it. Okay, I did realize that the Four of Stars is from last month as well, so we're going to pull one extra card. This is pull number 10. The King of Stars. All right, our last and final tarot card pull, don't you worry, there's more books on this TBR, is The King of Stars, and this is to read a book with unique magic. And for that, I chose Children of Fallen Gods by Carissa Broadbent, the second book in the War of Lost Hearts series. This does have pretty interesting magic. It has to do with like sigils, and there is like a very interesting, I don't want to say because I don't want to spoil it, but this definitely does have a very unique magic system that I'm very intrigued by. I really enjoyed book 1, and I'm very curious to see what this author is going to do with book 2, and so for that I wanted to pick this one. I definitely want to continue on with this series pretty rapidly before I forget like literally every detail, so hopefully I can get to this one and love it. I have been loving Carissa's work so far, so this is definitely one that I am very intrigued by. All right, that's my official like must read tarot TBR. These ones are absolute, cannot be shaken here, and if I don't read these then a punishment will ensue. But let's go ahead and jump into Becca's Spookablathon. I keep want to say, yeah, that happened. Okay, we're just gonna ignore that. Let's move on to Becca's Spookablathon and see how I do there. All right, I apologize, it's really hard to see, this is such a small board, but I am gonna roll for my Bookclub rolls, or I should say Spookablathon rolls. I think I'm gonna do my usual 8, and if I can get any of these ones included, that would be great. All right, a 6. Whoa, orange. All right, roll number 1 got us orange, and obviously for that is to read a book with orange on the cover. Now, hear me out. I'm gonna stretch this one a little bit because I really want to read this book, and that is God Killer by Hannah Kenner. I believe the original cover of this one has more orange than it does like the pinky colors, but that being said, there is some orange like in the leaves in here, but if I open up my special edition, there's definitely orange in the background here. So I'm gonna take it, even though it's not predominantly orange. I'm gonna stretch it to meet my needs because this is on my fall TBR and I do really wanna read it. And it's a short fantasy, so I feel like I could really enjoy this one. I don't know too much about this. All I know is this follows a girl who is a god killer until one day she runs into a god that she cannot kill, and chaos ensues from there. So I'm excited to get around to this one. Roll number 2. 8. Stabby. Roll number 2 got us Stabby, and for this I'm choosing to interpret this as like weapon on the cover, and for that I'm gonna choose Children of Fallen Gods by Carissa Broadbent. She is obviously holding a sword for which you stab people with, so Stabby. Roll number 3. 10. Broken Mirrors. Roll number 3 got us Broken Mirrors, and one of the interpretations was to read a book with a mirror on the cover, and so for that I'm going to be choosing These Hollow Boughs by Lexi Ryan. In the middle it does have a very large mirror. I have been wanting to read this one for a while. It's definitely giving the fall vibes, and my friends are also going to be reading this book this month, so I definitely wanted to pick it up and give it a go. Again, I don't know too much about this one. I do know it's a fae story, so I'm hoping to really love it. I tend to love and get drawn to fae stories, so this is one I'm excited for. Roll number 4. 3. Candy Corn. Roll number 4 got us Candy Corn, and that is to read a book that's like all vibes, no plot. And for this I'm going to be reading Boot Up by Daniel Allen. This is a Halloween novella. That's all I know. I know it's supposed to be steamy and sexy. Daniel Allen tends to write steamy, sexy romances, and this is one I'm really excited for. I do love a good novella during the Halloween season, and I do love one that is, you know, kind of set around Halloween time. So this one felt perfect, and hopefully I really, really love it. Roll number 5. 7. Michael Myers. Rule number 5 got us Michael Myers, and that is to read a sequel. I have many sequels on my list today, but I just chose to pick up Give Me More by Sarah Kate. But whatever I do end up reading, I will fit in for that prompt. Rule number 6 is a 5. Highest rated. That's scary. Okay, so rule number 6 got us highest rated, and I do have a Goodreads TBR of all the books that I brought here with me, called my limited TBR. So I'm actually going to use that to find my highest rated, because I just want to deplete some of the stuff that's here. So I'm going to go on to my Goodreads and choose average rating. Of course. Okay, so my highest rated book currently is Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. I'm not on that book, obviously. We just talked about that. So the next highest book would be The Consumption of Magic by TJ Klune, which I was not expecting to read this month, but there it is. There it is. And it's funny that the one below that was Empire of Storms. Again, can't read that, but the one below that is One Last Rainy Day, which I'm also reading this month. So, you know, I'll take it. That book is chunky, but I've been meaning to move on with the series anyways, so I need to read it. All right, here it is, The Consumption of Magic. Definitely one that I'm excited for. I've been meaning to continue on with this series for forever. This is a witchy queer romance that I have absolutely loved. I love everything TJ Klune writes, so I'm not surprised, but I've definitely heard that the series gets sad, and once I realized that, I was like, okay, I need to take a step back, because I wasn't prepared for TJ Klune to rip my heart out once again. So definitely excited to move on to book 3, and I'm glad that my list chose it. Rule number 7, a double. Lowest rated. Not surprising to anyone. My next one was lowest rated, of course, my luck. So I'm just going to go ahead and screen record. As you can see, I have not moved my screen. I'm just going to reverse it and do my lowest rated book on my TBR. Let's see what it is. The Bully, which I cannot read because I'm not on that series. I'm in that series, but I have not read book 2 yet. So the next one would be The Doctor by Nikki Sloan, which is actually one that I'm very, very excited for. So I'm pumped that it is the lowest rated book on my TBR. Okay, I have yet to read any Nikki Sloan, but this is one that I have been very, very excited to read. I've heard nothing but good things about this series, and I've actually heard really good things about this book, so I was surprised to see it so low on my list, but I am very excited to get to it. 4 years ago, he was part of my life. I watched him rush to the hospital countless times, his beautiful surgeon hands racing to save lives. After all this time, I can't escape the truth. I want Dr. Lowe. Lust chokes each moment we're together. He promises to fulfill my fantasies, every dirty, naughty desire we can dream of. Only I can't have him. He's confident, experienced, seductive, and he's my ex-boyfriend's father. Say less. Are we reading this immediately? Rule number 8 out of 9. 4. They're burning the witches, even if you aren't one. Geez, that took me a long time to get. All right, which should have been our last rule number 8, got us a double, and I landed on They're Burning the Witches. That is to read a book with witches, warlocks, some type of witchy magic. And I'm actually going to be participating, obviously, in a book club that I'm a part of, which is the Black Hat Coven book club. And we are reading Slewfoot. I was gonna say Brom by Slewfoot. Slewfoot by Brom. So this is definitely witchy. At least that's the whole point of this book club, so I at least hope that it's witchy. I think that it is. Don't quote me. I didn't choose it, so I'm just going along for the ride, and I'm going to assume that it's witchy. But I am very excited to get to this one. I've heard nothing but good things. I don't own this one, but I am very curious about it. Like I said, I've heard good things. Everyone that has read it has seemed to love it. This is not my type of read, though, so I'm a little bit apprehensive going into it, but cross my fingers that I enjoy this one, since I haven't enjoyed most of the books in this book club just yet. All right, what is hopefully our last rule number 9. A 3. 1, 2, 3. Green. All right, let's figure this out. All right, and finally, our last roll landed us on green, and that is to read a book with green on the cover. And for that, I'm choosing Rewrite Our Story by Kat Singleton. There is flowers and leaves and trees and stuff in the background, and obviously there's green on this cover. So I'm very, very pumped to read this one, as I've already said, so hopefully I can get to this one ASAP. Okay, and just when you thought that we were done, haha, no. My besties, Nikki and Dana, are hosting the Stayspookyathon, Readathon for the month of October, and I'm very, very excited to participate in that. Obviously, I need to support the besties, so I'm just gonna quickly go over the bingo board and see if there's any that I can automatically hit, and if there's anything else that I'm thinking of for this readathon that I'm maybe trying to sneak in during that time. So we have YA thriller. I would really love to read Holly Jackson. why do I want to say How to Get Away with Murder? That's not right. I'll put the picture up on the screen. I cannot think of the name right now, but I've been wanting to read this one for a while. Dana and Nikki love this one, so I feel like it's a perfect one to read for their readathon. Audiobook, I read a ton of audiobooks. Half of the crap here is going to be on audiobook, so I can slot that in. A host fave, I'm going to try to read the group book. This readathon is being hosted by Thrills and Chills, and the book club pick is Clown in a Cornfield, and I'm going to try to get to that one since I know Dana's really excited, and Nikki, this is one of her favorites, so I'm really excited to read that one. Buddy read, we are buddy reading These Hollow Vows. We are buddy reading Crown of Night? No. What am I reading? Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. We're buddy reading Empire of Storms. I could fit all of those in there. Fall drink, easy peasy. Listen to a spooky ambiance. We do that every time we sprint, so not a problem. Cozy mystery, probably not going to happen, but I can try. Paranormal, I'm going to be reading that Paranormal Why I Choose Romance, so that's perfect. The group book, which is Clown in a Cornfield. Orange or black on the cover, I'm using God Killer by, where is that? God Killer by Hannah Whitten. Foil on the cover, I could also use God Killer by Hannah Whitten. I could also use Empire the Vampire. Slasher, again, probably not going to happen, not my usual genre. The Free Space, revisit a spooky fave. I don't read a lot of spooky books, so I think I'm going to probably skip that one as well, but I love that it's there. New release, I could read Things We Left Behind by Lucy Score. That is a new release. Animal on the cover, I could read God Killer by Hannah Whitten. Up next, we have Watch a Spooky Movie. I'll probably watch a spooky movie with my friends, so again, don't think it's going to happen. Read After Dark, happens every day, not a problem. An adult thriller, I'm going to probably choose, you know what? I'm probably not going to choose one. I don't read thrillers, so I'm probably not going to fulfill that one, but it's okay. Set in the Fall, I think I could read God Killer. My Halloween novella works, so definitely options. 5-star prediction, I have a bunch on this list, so that'll work. Stunning edition, I have plenty special editions here. True crime, I might listen to a podcast that can fulfill that. Trick or Treat Your Shelf, not a problem. I will break my book buying ban just for you guys. Thank you for giving me a reason. And Out of My Comfort Zone, Clown in a Cornfield definitely works. Empire the Vampire works just because anything over 500 pages outside of my comfort zone, so thank you very much for that. And then the only other like top tier books that I absolutely want to have to read this month is my reread of the Ravenhood series by Kate Stewart, and if I can, I would like to reread That Sick Love by Jessie Hall, just because my friends are reading it this month and I would love to do a reread. Now that I don't have 5,000 books on my TBR already. Send help. This is the longest TBR ever, and I'm so sorry for that, but hopefully you enjoyed it. If you've read any of the books I talked about today, feel free to let me know. Also, let me know what you plan on reading for the month of October and what your high priority books are on your TBR for this month. And of course, if you made it to the end of the month, leave a pumpkin or jack-o'-lantern emoji for October. Obviously, Halloween is just around the corner, and I am very, very excited for that. All of the book clubs and people that I mentioned in today's video will be linked in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching. I really, really hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave. And of course, leave any comments, questions, and suggestions in the comment section below. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!
Baby, turn it down like a sweet and ready. Go slow, keep it nice and steady.